The stock market is being absolutely battered. In this video, I'll show you the impact that recent world events have had on my own portfolio. I'll look at how it's performed so far this year and since I started way back in 2009. I'll also reveal what I've been buying recently and how I plan to navigate these turbulent times. I'll go through each sector of my portfolio in ascending order of performance for the year so far. This is not investment advice and I'm only showing you my own journey. My worst performing sector this year has been information technology, and I have 3 companies. Here are 2 of them, Relics and Experian. Not only have they been impacted by the emergence of generative AI, but recent market volatility has created a perfect storm, which has decimated share prices. The third company is Sage, and that's also down heavily this year. As I go through the slides, this figure is the year-to-date average change in value of the shares in a given sector. It's a weighted average based on the value of those specific holdings. This figure shows the current size of my holding for each company. Here is the year-to-date price change for that company, and here is the yearly dividend yield. My second worst performing sector this year is the house builders, and I've just one company, Persimmon. It's down 20.3% so far this year. I've only got a small amount invested here and I like to buy on the dips. More about that later. Next is the banking sector, and I have 3 companies. On average, the sector is down 11.4% in 2026. Barclays was the first ever company I bought in this portfolio way back in 2009, and it's having a tough time this year. I've been capitalising on these lower prices by buying more shares. HSBC is more or less unchanged and also pays a decent dividend of nearly 5%. Lloyds has slipped 8.2% and also pays a good dividend of around 4%. In the insurance sector, I have 2 companies, Aviva and a fairly recent purchase, Legal & General. The sector as a whole is down around 10%, but I've been buying plenty more Legal & General shares lately. In fact, nearly all my dividends have been going into this one company recently. It's a very cash-generative business and should hopefully continue to pay out a stream of reliable dividends over the long term. If you are finding this video useful, then I'd really appreciate a quick tap of that like button as it really helps out the channel. Now for the consumer goods sector, and I have 3 companies. The sector is down 8.3% at the time of this video. Consumers have been trimming expenditure on non-essential items and quite simply have less money in their pockets. Haleon seems to have fared a little better, but is also down this year. Now for an exchange-traded fund in the S&P 500. Considering world events recently, it's no surprise this ETF is down in 2026. I like to keep this ETF outside the ISA as the dividend is fairly low at just 1%. I have both a general investment account and a stocks and shares ISA on my Barclays platform. With a £20,000 ISA allowance each year, there isn't enough room to keep everything inside. Next is the renewable energy sector, and I have just one company, Greencoat Wind Energy. It's down slightly this year, but pays a very high dividend of 10.7% spread over 4 payments a year. Also down is the defence and aerospace sector, and I have 2 companies, BAE Systems and Rolls-Royce. Quite mixed fortunes for these 2 so far this year, with BAE Systems faring much better, as countries around the world aim to boost their defences. Now for my world ETFs. This sector as a whole is down slightly in 2026. VWRL is like holding the whole global economy in just one single share. VHYL is similar but focuses on companies paying higher dividends. And finally, VEVE focuses on companies in developed markets. There is quite a lot of overlap with these ETFs, but it's not something I worry about. Now finally, we have a sector that's actually risen. It's food and tobacco, up a tiny 0.7% on average. These 2 companies pay very decent dividends and appear to have weathered the recent market turmoil quite well. The third company is Tate & Lyle and it's down 4.9%. Of all my ETFs, this next one has done the best in 2026. It tracks the FTSE 100 and is up 0.7%, which I know is nothing to shout about. It pays a dividend of 3% spread over 4 payments a year. When I'm looking for UK shares to buy and can't see any specific bargains, I'll simply add a bit more to this one. Now for the brokerage services sector, and I own two companies. The sector is up 2.9% on average. IG Group really seems to be firing on all cylinders at the moment. It's recently been promoted to the FTSE 100 and offers a very attractive stocks and shares ISA investing platform. In the retail sector, I have just one company, the supermarket Tesco. It's up 3.7% this year and the dividend yield is a fairly average 3.1%. It's one of those rather dull giants which should hopefully just plod along and churn out reliable dividends way into the future. Now, just before I reveal the top 5 performing sectors, a quick reminder that if you are thinking about starting your own portfolio using a general investment account or even a stocks and shares ISA, then Trading 212 will give you a free fractional share worth up to £100 if you sign up using a link in the video description, or just scan this handy QR code and begin your wealth growing journey today. So at number 5 is the industrial sector, and I own two companies. Bunzl and Croda performed incredibly poorly last year, so it's good to see a bit of a turnaround. The sector as a whole is up 3.8%. At number 4 is the utilities, and I have three companies. In good times as well as bad times, we all need services like electricity, water and gas. These two electricity providers have got off to a good start in 2026. The third is the water company, United Utilities, which is also up this year and pays a fairly decent dividend of 4.1%. It's been a solid year so far for the utilities. At number 3 is the pharmaceutical sector, and of course people need medicines regardless of market conditions. Of the two companies here, GSK has done better and is up nearly 12%. The dividend is above average for a FTSE 100 company. My second highest performing sector so far this year is mining, and I have just one company, Rio Tinto. It not only pays a decent dividend, but the share price is up 8.9% so far this year. And there is no real surprise that the best performing sector so far this year is oil and gas, up 29%. High demand and a more limited supply is only going to send oil prices in one direction. Both these companies are good dividend payers. I've held both for well over 15 years. So what have I been buying recently? With my portfolio now paying over £1,500 in dividends per month, I don't always need to deposit new money to buy more shares. I can simply use the dividends and look for bargains. In the first 3 months of 2026, I've put more into Legal & General than any other company. I believe it's a well-run business, has good cash flow and a very high dividend that's been consistently increased year after year. I've put more into Diageo when I saw big share price falls earlier in the year. I'm hopeful their new CEO will help turn the company around. Recent market volatility has seen the banks hit hard, and I've therefore added more to Barclays while the prices are lower. The other companies I've added to all suffered big share price falls earlier in the year because of AI concerns and the potential impact on their businesses. I believe that these concerns could be a bit overblown, so I've taken the opportunity to add more to these companies. Each month on this channel I show exactly what I've been buying and selling, so why not subscribe to be notified of future videos? Subscribing to the channel is absolutely free. And now for my plans for the months ahead. I intend to continue with my purchases of Legal & General and will probably use accumulated dividends for this purpose. I'm also keeping a close eye on Persimmon as it could drop below £10, at which point I'll probably start adding more to my holding. If I see any further weaknesses in the banks, I'll consider adding more in. And finally, if BP and Shell carry on rising strongly, I might give them both a bit of a haircut and put the proceeds into something else which is not doing so well. Cash in the portfolio currently stands at £1,040. Now for the performance so far in 2026. As I mentioned at the start of the video, we are experiencing some really volatile times at the moment. It was only a few weeks ago when my portfolio reached its highest ever value of 762k. And literally a few days later fell to 709k. That was like waking up one morning and seeing £50,000 suddenly disappear. However, I hadn't actually lost anything as I didn't sell and crystallise a loss. The market really can be a roller coaster ride in the short term, and market corrections like the one we have already seen this year happen on average every couple of years. If we take a slightly longer time frame, things look a bit better. Let's see how the portfolio has performed since the start of the year. At the end of 2025, the portfolio stood at 690k. At the end of March, the portfolio stands at 712k. £12,000 of new money has gone into the platform from wages and savings. Because of the market correction, I've utilised a lot more of my savings to add more money in than I would normally do. So my net gain in the first 3 months of this year is £9,358, which equates to a net percentage increase of 1.4%. So despite the stock market chaos in 2026, the portfolio is at least showing a net gain. Of course, this is all unrealised gains. I haven't actually sold my shares and taken profits. I'll now compare the performance of the portfolio this year with other indices, and to do this fairly, I'll strip out any dividends I've been paid so far this year. With dividend payments subtracted, the share price growth alone is up 1%. You can see in this table the portfolio has outperformed the FTSE 100, 250 and all share indices, and it's also beaten a typical S&P 500 ETF and an all-world ETF. I don't expect to always do this, however, and things can change so quickly in the markets. Now for my overall performance since I started in 2009. I've made plenty of mistakes in the early days as I was learning the hard way, and all my figures include everything. I try to be fully transparent. The total amount I put in from my wages since I started is 313k. But I didn't put this all in as one big lump sum. I only started with £5,000 at the beginning, and then I proceeded to drip feed in spare money each month. As you have seen, the value of the portfolio stands at around 712k, give me a current net gain of 399k, or 127.5%. Many investors will have done much better than this, of course, and I'm only showing you my own journey. If you don't already know, I've created a pie on Trading 212, which is based on this portfolio. I don't necessarily recommend you copy another person's portfolio, as what might be suitable for one person might not be suitable for another. So it's really just for reference and to perhaps to keep track of any significant changes I make. I'll leave a link to the pie in the video description if you are interested in taking a look. Now, if you are thinking of opening a stocks and shares ISA and want to know which platform is the best one for you, then you might want to check out this video here.